Greetings traders, this is Mohan here for a demonstration of Boomerang Day Trader trading the crude oil market, the King Crude Oil. Amazing market for trading with Boomerang. Very, very excellent the way it works, as I'll show you soon. Now, first of all, I'm talking about 7 sessions here from the period of 5:16 to 5:26. I'm going to try to keep this video as short and concise as I can. I don't want it to go much over 15 minutes. I may not be able to show you all 7 sessions, but once you see us get through 3 sessions, you'll be astonished. You'll see how incredibly accurate and simple it is to use Boomerang. If you're already a little experienced at trading, you'll have no problem. During the period of 5:16 to 5:26, on those 7 sessions, there were 64 trade setups with 2 losses. That means out of the 64 trade setups, there were 62 winning trade setups and only 2 losses. That's a 97% winning trade ratio. Now, we look to scalp for 8 to 10 ticks on Boomerang on the crude oil. And we use a 12-tick stop, so it's a very tight stop, and we're looking for 10 ticks. Some cases 8 to 10 gives you a little room there because it's a very active market, and you just go in there and scalp them out. And I want you to keep that in mind. So the conclusion is that 62 trades would have given you, winning trades net would have given you $6,200 per contract minus the commission. So if you look at overall after the commission, everything on one contract over that 2-week period on 7 sessions, that's about $5,000 to $6,000. If you're a 2-contract trader, you're talking about $10,000, $11,000 during that period, and you can trade the crude oil with a very small account with 2 contracts. And again, we're using a tight stop, so it's very easy to do. Let me show you what I mean. Now, if you're new to Boomerang, Boomerang consists of 3 trend bands. You have these 2 key ones here, the dynamic trend band number 1 here, and the number 2, which is this one up here on the top, the thicker one. You have the trade signal lines, which is very thin dashed line here, which we use. It's very sensitive and it colors the candles when the market starts moving in that direction, and we use it as a pullback for the signal line. That's the signal line. We use that to pull back to enter the trades when we get the right setup. So once these are all matching and in sync, it's that simple. You buy a pullback to the signal line and up you go. Okay, so let's get started here. Now, usually the crude oil market gets going around 4:45. This is a West Coast chart, so it's going to show what would be on the East Coast about 8 o'clock. 7:45, it's 5 o'clock here. To get the idea, just add 3 hours. So as the market starts off getting opening here, really it gets active usually right past 8 o'clock Eastern or 5 on this chart, and they collapse right here, forming a little fat channel bubble. So there's no trade on this setup here, and these rules are very easy to learn, and I guarantee you that I can teach them to you, and you will get to know them if you got the guts and you know how to trade and you have what it takes and you have confidence in yourself. Boomerang is the easiest system in the industry to trade with and make a very, very good income. We have many traders that I get emails from that tell me they're making $200,000 to $400,000 a year trading Boomerang. I'd like to see you join that team with us. You can own Boomerang for just $1,200. $11.95 is the cost. Unbelievably low cost. And you got some small monthly costs for NinjaTrader, and you open your account with Ninja Brokerage or whoever, and you're in business. Okay, so first thing is we got an arrow here signaling a channel. See these green shaded channels and these lighter red shaded? Those are the sell and buy channels. Here's a buy channel coming in, and what do you see right here? That's right, you see all 3 of these trend bands matching color, right? How simple can that be? You buy this blue dot pullback signal line, which is at 47.96, and we're looking for a 10-tick run, so 96 running to 06. Well, easily up in here, within a couple minutes, they ran up to 06, giving you that 10 ticks. That put $100 per contract in your pocket right there, and didn't even put any pressure on the stop. Notice that there was no pressure on the stop. Now I'm going to speed up a little as we get going. Here's a second level trade, or it's a reversal that fails. We're looking for that to fail because the dynamic trend band is pretty steep here. When that fails, that tells us the next buy channel that opens up right here You take that next pullback sig line, which occurred right here at 48.11. and 11, I'll just use the last two digits, 11 shot straight up to 26, giving you 10 ticks. Now you're out of the trade until you get up here. We have a trend move occurring, and we've got a brand new thing I've just completed research on, and that is when you get a trend move, in this case, because the dynamic trend band had already crossed over here and set this up, you see that dynamic trend band number 2 cross over the Cobra, you trade a pullback to the Cobra, and up they go. See how the winning trades, we've already had 3 winning trades in a row. Now, you got a crossover here. You see this? Let me try to blow this up a little so it's real clear. I'll go over about 3 sessions as quickly as I can. Don't mind the speed. Just attend one of our training classes, and we can spend all the time you need going over this. You can ask unlimited questions before you buy Boomerang. You'll know exactly what to do. When you get the download from me after you bought Boomerang and you unload it on your charts, you go, it's exactly what he had. You'll know exactly what to do. I promise you that. I'll work with you until you're really doing well with Boomerang. Here's a sell channel. Now notice this. Here's the dynamic trend band crossing over number 2, which is a rule. Either within 5 ticks of crossing over or crossing over. Now the dynamic trend band number 2 has, or 1, this dashed dotted line, that's a tongue twister, has to be the magenta color for the sell side and the blue color for the buy side. So here's your first pullback with that. Right here at 843, and 43 drops down to 35, so it kind of bubbles around 35, and you get a second chance here to just cover them up for 8 ticks and just don't worry about it. If you held, you could have taken a little heat and saw them come down and give you that 10 ticks, but 8 to 10 ticks is good. Now here's a new buy channel with a crossover not occurring. You don't have all the trend bands matching. You see that? So there's no trade there. And then they make a little blip to the downside here. That was lightning fast. Now on this trade, normally you would take this trade, and if you did, you got short at 40, and they dropped right down to 34. So it didn't quite give you the 8 to 10 ticks, and then they bounced up here, 40, bounce up to 49. But because you still got a bearish dynamic trend band number 2, if you held that trade, it didn't hit the 12 tick stop, and they came down again and set you up for the 10 tick trade here. That's part of trading. That happens once in a while. No big deal. So the market comes down and starts bottoming. Here's the trend bands getting ready to cross again. But what happens is right off the bottom here, you get 5 quick big spikes up to the upside, forming what we call a fat channel, which is right here. If you turn your head to the left, you'll see the fat channel forming. We don't trade at the top of the fat channel or at the bottom if it's on the downside. We don't take those. You just have to wait for the next setup. Well, all of a sudden the market starts selling off again, and you don't have the matching trend bands until right here, but that's okay. Short them there at 13. 13 drops down to 99, giving you 10 ticks on that trade. Another buy channel coming in, opening up. Nothing matching until right here. All you're looking for is the trend bands to match. How easy is that? Here they are matching right here at 17, and up they go for 10 ticks. I'm going to speed up just a little bit here. Nothing here because you don't have the trend bands matching. You see that? They're matching here though, right? So what happens is because this was an extended move up here, you can still buy this pullback here, but just be ready to maybe scalp them out a little tighter at 8 ticks. They pull them back right here at 34. 34 jumps to 41. So that was a 7-tick move, and then they drop back here under your entries, and you see some red candles, so you start to get a little concerned, and you just scalp it out at break even here. Not a big deal. Then you get a sell channel with the trend bands already having crossed, and plus the fact that this had crossed over on the trend bands should make you very leery of further upside. Maybe some coming in, but most of the time that crossover is going to signal downside pressure. New sell channel, pullback signal line, and down they go. So even though you broke even here, you immediately got another winning trade just shortly after that. Same thing here. What do you have? Matching dynamic trend bands, pull back the signal line, 31 jumps to 46 for 10 ticks. Now here you have a different situation slightly, but when they finally do cross over and match right in here, this pull back the signal line at 29 drops right down to 18 for 10 ticks. Pretty amazing, isn't it? Now you're getting to the later part of the crude oil session, so you probably would just skip this later part. You watch the volume. We show you how to build a volume meter. It's so simple, and you just watch the volume. As that volume drops off coming into the close, you just stop trading. No big deal. So here's the market getting sold off in pre-market on Globex, and now they're starting to open the regular session right around in here, right around 4:30, quarter to 5 my time out in the west coast. The east coast, it's 3 hours ahead, just remember that. And they shoot right up off the higher volume area, forming a fat channel, so no trade here. Then they go into little whipsaw mode with the dynamic trend bands holding on the upside, selling, buying. You're just standing aside, big whipsaw count. When you see these counter, gray candle, green candle, red, gray, green, red, just stand aside. That's Boomerang telling you, caution, whipsaw. It's a perfect signal from Boomerang, the only system that I've seen in the industry that actually has a whipsaw alert by the color candles, and learning these simple methods I teach every 2 weeks in our free training class. You're welcome to come even if you don't own Boomerang. Here's a new buy channel, a pullback signal line, and up they go. I'm going to speed it up a little here now. A continuation upside move that's just filled with more whipsaws. So what would we do? We just stand aside. Generally, when you're trading Boomerang, you want these trend bands to be fairly close together and avoiding the whipsaw. So here's a new sell channel. Everything's nicely compacted. You got the crossover and matching trend bands with it. Well, even if it wasn't matching, you can see that's within 5 ticks easily of each other. So you can pull it, trade at this, pull back the sig line, down they go for 10 ticks. Smooth as silk. Here again, they're not crossing, nowhere near that, but they're matching color, right? Pull back the sig line here at 63, up they go to 75. Beautiful. A move that continues up here, but nothing going on. It's not a very steep dynamic trend band, so you're just kind of leaving that alone. Nothing to do here because they don't match. Now you got the matching dynamic trend bands and a new buy channel, so you buy this first pullback, which is on this blue dot right here. It's kind of buried under the colors here, but you can see it peeking out. 78 was your price, and 89 comes right in for 10 ticks. You'll easily be able to see it on your charts in the live action because these will congest, but you can easily see it, and you know the rules. You're supposed to buy that pullback signal line, plus you'll hear the alarm go off right when it hits the signal line. Just jump in, take that trade. Again, here, matching dynamic trend bands, a little bit of whipsaw coming in as they start to back off here. Here's your entry right at 79. 79 comes down to 72. Then you get a whipsaw candle against 79. No big deal, up to 84, but not too pleasant. So when they pull back again, you get a little more red ink, 79. Just try to scalp out of that trade at break even. Don't worry about it. Just scalp out and let it go. The whipsaw comes in. Just scalp out of the trade. Don't worry about it. Here we go. Matching dynamic trend bands right here on this candle. Pull back the sig line, 86, jumps them up for 10 points on the upside. You see that? Now crossing over here, dynamic trend bands are within that 5-tick crossover. You got a new sell signal, so just watch for the next pullback here. They've already crossed and matching color. Pullback signal line 90, down they go. Beautiful. So you've accumulated an average on all those sessions, by the way, an average of 8 to 10 winning trades a day. There are only 2 losses out of 64 setups, so the losses are insignificant. If you just follow the rules, you get in these right trades. Now here's a modification rule where there's no setup here, and all the pullbacks of sig line have been used up without the dynamic trend band setup being correct. So once they cross over, you wait for them to be right on the crossover or further along, but generally right on the crossover, and you trade a pullback to this line here, which is called the Cobra. I didn't mention the name of it, but I showed you that there's 4 dynamic trend bands here, and there's 2 main ones, and these are called the trade signal line and the Cobra. They have a different name than these key dynamic trend bands here. Pull back to the Cobra and up they go for 10 ticks. Now here's the trend rule coming in here. See, this is where the dynamic trend band number 1 crosses the Cobra. You got a steeper dynamic trend band number 2. You buy the pullback to the Cobra and up they go for 10 ticks. Unbelievable. Just works beautiful. If it gets into a real heavy trend move, you can take a second pullback to the Cobra, which occurred here, but this is a little later in the session, so caution on that one, but it was a correct setup. Moving forward here now to the 18th, that was the second session of their 7 sessions. I'm not going to show you all this time. We'll go over them on the next training that we have. The reason is I want to keep this tape nice and short. I wanted to show you the rules, and I want to show you how incredibly accurate trading with crude oil on Boomerang is. Dynamic trend band crossover. Everything was used up here. You with me? There was no trades in here, but on this crossover, you trade that pullback to the Cobra. That's the rule I just told you about, that modification trade there. 89 comes right down to 74, 10 ticks. Nothing to do here. Now, this would have been good if you caught this one here, and because you got the matching dynamic trend bands, you had a counter buy arrow, and you need that to make the second level trade. The new arrow fires, they fire right off the signal line at the same time. You go short at 85 and down they come to 70. So you even add some slippage room in there easily because there was a fast move there. If you didn't catch it, just stand aside. There will be another winner along the way. So off that low, they come rocket shipping higher up here. Look at these spike candles, just rocket ship to the moon up here. Don't trade at the top of the fat channel. It's not part of our rules. You got to just wait. Now again, here's that modification rule. You don't have the correct setup with the matching DTBs or the crossover because of the fat channel rule. It's the only real rule that there is you have to learn. And it's very easy to identify. You look for spike moves that create this fat channel, right? So here you use the modification rule, which is, you look for that pullback to the Cobra, or in this case, maybe a little bit of a discount on the Cobra. But even if you got in at the Cobra at 91, they easily held a 12-tick stop, and then they shoot back up again and give you your 10 ticks off the Cobra. But like I said, in a deal like this with a fat channel, maybe try to get a little discount on the Cobra, maybe down around, 2-3 ticks lower, which would have been right in here. Perfect. And so again, you have this trending move going here. They're pushing them higher. See the dynamic trend band crossing the Cobra. You trade a pullback to the Cobra, and they shoot up for 10 ticks again. Then we get into all kinds of whipsaw up here. Boomerang's telling you red candle, green candle, off red, 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 green. Just stand aside. Yellow dot, blue dot next to each other. Don't worry about it. Just stand aside and wait. Now, theoretically, you might say, well, isn't this a trade because the trend bands are matching? Well, that's true, but they were matching back here too when the whipsaw was occurring. You're better off just waiting for the next signal. Well, all of a sudden, all that pent-up sell energy comes in, and a new sell arrow opens with the matching dynamic trend bands. A pullback signal line occurred right at the exact millisecond of the sell arrow firing. You would have missed this trade most likely. Not to worry, there's another one around the corner. Just wait for it. Now, what do you see here? That's right, you see matching dynamic trend bands on the sell side. So you're not going to take any buy signals here. No way. You're going to wait for a new sell channel, which occurs right here. The very first pullback signal line is right here. See that? 49.09, and they get crushed right there, and you get 10 ticks out of the deal. So same thing here. The new buy channel comes in, and even though they shot up here, everything was still fairly compact around the dynamic trend band number 2 on the pullback. So you trade that pullback to the signal line, and up they go. A lot of whipsaw in this particular session. Here's the same thing where they get that heavy downside move, and before the exact crossover occurs here, without it being a correct setup, well, actually right here, this was the correct setup. Matching dynamic trend bands, pullback signal line. This is one of those that got stopped out. 12 ticks would have been a move to 49.16, and that occurred right here, and you got stopped out in this trade. 12 ticks, no big deal. We're looking for 10 tick goals on all these trades, so 12 ticks stop is very tight, very exciting. Now here we again, we're watching for the matching dynamic trend bands, pull back the signal line, and down they go. Beautiful. Whipsaw period here again. What do you do with the whipsaw period? Little quiz for you. That's right, just wait for a crossover of the dynamic trend bands and the colors to match, and you get a buy channel here. I know they're within 5 ticks, but just wait because of this whipsaw period. Let the colors match, trade a pullback here. Now you're on your way to another 10 tick winning trade. Up here, they're really anxious to sell off. Here's a new sell channel, and look at that. 54, 55, within 2 to 3 ticks here, and you got up to 5. So this is where you would have sold the pull back the sig line here. Down they go for 10 ticks. Nothing here because why? No matching trend bands, no within 5 ticks of crossing over. Just wait till they match. Sure enough, here's the matching trend bands right here. Prices are starting to move pretty intensely here. Matching dynamic trend bands, pullback sig line here at 34, and down they come right here to 29, and then they start whipping back up here. So you got to be careful. You're short at 34. They go up to 40. You're still short, but on any pullback in here, normally you're going to try to wait it out. But you see the dynamic trend bands are matching. Something's really going on here. There's some weird thing. They're trying to rig this thing back up. You're short at 34. Here's 40. There's no big deal here. It's kind of scary, but you got the matching dynamic trend band. Why is this thing creating a new buy channel and everything? You're still, it's only 5 ticks against you, and then crunch. Down they go to the downside. That's what was going on. The bulls were trying to push it up, but forget it. It really wanted to sell off, and down they go. Now, you got out in here. Now, look at this. You got short here at 33. You finally got your 10 ticks here on this big crunch candle here. Well, it's a new sell channel, and all the dynamic trend bands are matching. Jump back in and go short here at 22 and take them down again for another 10 ticks. See how that works? Pretty amazing, isn't it? I'm going to end this video here pretty soon. I just wanted to show you how Boomerang Day Trader works. This is another trend trade move here, where the dynamic trend band number 1 crosses under the Cobra. In this case, you trade a pullback to the Cobra. You know, maybe you get a little discount, but even at the Cobra there at 05, they only went to 12, and 05 gives you 10 ticks more. Now you're coming in the close, and they're getting full of whipsaw. We did 3 sessions. There were 7 similar sessions, all with an average of 8 to 10 trades a day, and 97% winners. On the average overall over that 2-week period from 5/16 to 5/26 on those 7 sessions on one contract after commission, you would have got about $5,000 to $6,000 out of the deal. That's pretty darn good, because if you're trading 2 contracts, you're talking about a $10,000 to $11,000 income over that 2-week period after commission. So I just wanted to let you know and show you this. Come to our free classes, and I can demonstrate crude oil for you. I can show you how well it works on the stock indexes, and I'll sure look forward to seeing you there. You can sign up for free at boomerangtrader.com, and feel free to email me anytime at mohan@daytradersaction. Thanks again for joining with us today.